Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tech Tanks. We're going to be going through another Hack the Box today. The focus for this video is actually going to be on the third, what is it called, domain of the CEH version 11 Blueprint, or I think it's called Blueprint 4.0. Anyway, we're going to be focusing on system hacking. The vulnerability analysis, I need to set up a lab specifically for that one. It talks about a lot of vulnerability scanners, things like that. So I need to get a lab set up specifically for that. But today we're going to be gaining access, cracking passwords, and escalating our privileges. As far as for clearing logs and hiding files, again, I'll do that in a different lab. I'll make sure it's set up on the same one as the vulnerability scanner, so that way we can just kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. But let's go ahead and hop in here. Let's see. Oh, screwed up already. There we go. Now, as far as for the box we're going to be doing, we are going to be following the Bastion box on Hack the Box. So let's pull this up. I want to make sure you guys can see it. Actually, this one doesn't matter. Never mind. I just need to connect over to Hack the Box. There we go. All right. Get rid of that. Okay. This one you need to see. Alright, so I do have a directory already set up because I got our nmap taken care of ahead of time. So that'll be the first thing we look at, and then I'll show you kind of the steps we're going to follow. Okay. So this is the scan that I did. This is the typical one that I like to do when I'm running a Hack the Box, because I don't need to worry about the noise I'm making or anything like that. So we found that port 22 is open, 135, 139, 445, 5985. Then these ones, and then of course our 47001. Now, a lot of people kind of get thrown off, or at least a lot of people that have come up to me tend to be the newer people, where it's like, well, this says HTTP, but when I try to connect over to it, it doesn't connect over. Read the rest of it. This is plug and play. So it's not like your standard HTTP connection. So this is useful at times, but anyway, outside of what we're going to be focusing on here. So ports of interest are going to be here, here, and here. Okay, we have our SSH, and then we have our SMB. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay. So I have to cover exactly how the CEH version 11 text covers enumerating and Smb share. It's pretty sad, but they're on their version 11 book to enumerate SMB. They provide an nmap script. It's fantastic. It's not even a full script. Never mind. They do this. And then of course you put in the IP address. Pretty sure that's it. But that is their solution to enumerate SMB, which if you notice, I kind of already covered that when I told it to do the A command, which runs scripts and everything else. And I told it to do it on all ports though. So this already got covered in our nmap scan. But I mean, I have to show you, right? That's the whole point, is to kind of prep for the CEH version 11. There you go. There are much better ways to do it. One of my favorite tools is SMB map. Now, Windows is a little bit of fun because if you notice here, it says, guess, that was the account used, authentication level, user. Now, usually when if you go into a Linux box, you can just type in SMB map, do this, and then just type in your IP address, and you're good to go. But we have an authentication error when it's Windows. So usually what I'll just do is I'll just type in the guest, and it works. There we go. So what SMB map does, it'll actually tell you what kind of access you have to the shared directories. So for IPC, we only have read only, and then for backups, we have read and write. Now, if you're ever doing pen testing or ethical hacking with the highlight on ethical, ladies and gentlemen, if you see backups, you hit the gold mine, especially if you can read those backups. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do SMB a little bit differently this time, and I'm actually going to go ahead and show you why. So I'm going to connect over to it. Oops. And then remember guest and what? Oh. All right, so we are now in. I'm going to take a coffee break. Okay. So pulling this up, we have a note. Probably pull that over so we can see what that is. And let's see. Okay, so there's that to clear my throat. Anyway, so we'll definitely pull the note because we want to look and see what's in there. And tell you what, since we're connected, make that bigger for you. Sysadmins, please don't transfer the entire backup file locally, the VPN. Oh. Okay, entire backup file. We'd like that. And if you notice, we do have a Windows image backup. So we're going to pull this up. Looks like we might have a user L4MPJE. Or that's computer name, one or the other. Okay. And this is, now you're starting to see why we're actually going to mount this. Because this just keeps on going. And I don't think I've shown you guys that one before, so it's a good thing to just have an idea of how to do it. And then of course we have this. Alright, so we see some XML files here. And then catches my eye here is the VHD, which that is a image file. So we want those. Now, there's a couple ways we could do this, but I'm going to go ahead and just exit out. And I'm going to go to mount. Because with how much we have to navigate around and all that, I just think it's going to be a lot easier to kind of mount everything in. So, might want to actually make my directory, right? So we're going to, let's see, we'll just call it backup. Why not? Alright, and then, so we are going to mount our SMB. And let's say I'm calling it backup. And then we're going to make it read write. And yeah. If you're running on the sudo account, which you, or if you're running on the root account, which you shouldn't be, you don't need to worry about typing in sudo and all that, but what? Oh. Man. There we go. Cool. Mounted. Coffee time. Alright. Okay. So now we should be able to just go into the backup and we can see the whole thing. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to just go ahead and remove our note file because we don't need it anymore. Okay. So going back to the Windows backup. Let's see. That. And look how much easier it is to navigate through here. Alright, so I want those VHD files, but here's the thing, we can't just pull them off and read them. As a matter of fact, let's have a little bit of fun here. This is what happens if you just try to read it. and it just keeps going and going and going and going. So that's obviously not an option. So I believe there's a few different ways where we can actually read what's in there, but the easiest way to do it, we're going to just mount that also. So we're going to go back to mount, and this one we're gonna have to do it a little bit differently because it is a VHD file. So just follow along if you need to, or if you're just kind of watching. Enjoy the show. It's going to be quite entertaining, if I do say so myself. Alright, so we're going to do guest mount, add mount. I keep forgetting to do this. Make dir mount, and we'll just call this VHD. Okay, so we're going to mount backup, Windows. Yep, yeah, okay, I did that. We're going to do that part. And we're going to do backup. And the part that we want is 9B9. We should be able to tab it. And then we're going to start with the 3. Okay. And I don't know what's going on with me today. I need to keep clearing my throat. No bueno. Alright, and then, let's see. Got that. Oh, okay. So, and then we're doing inspector, read only, and then we're going to tell it where to mount it, which is the VHD, and yeah. It's going to take a moment. It's a big file, really big file. And so while we're waiting, mounting this will allow us to get into the image, and that's kind of our goal here. Now, hopefully, you know enough about your Windows operating system. You know why this is going to be such an awesome deal. New operating system is found. All right. Well, the nice thing is, oops, we have 2 of them. Anyway, hopefully you know what it is we're doing. If you're anything like me, when I first got into ethical hacking, pen testing, whatever you want to call it, I fell in love with Linux, and I could hack a Linux system, left and right, no problem. Windows was a whole different ballgame. Now, Windows, they actually have some really nice features that are easy to bypass, but nice features. You can't really pull the SAM file while the system's on. Now, there are little odd scenarios that you might be able to get a hold of it, but anyway, that's, yeah, odd scenarios. So, but the, okay, that one worked. The SAM file is what we're looking for, okay, and there's 2 ways to get the SAM file pretty easily, which one is a backup image like what we have here, and the second one is if you have a bootable disk, and if you boot from that system, like from that bootable disk, like say for example, I don't know, Kali, you're able to mount the hard drive in a Windows system and get the SAM file. So it's pretty easy. If you have if a hacker has physical access to your computer, it's not your computer anymore. That's kind of the rule of thumb. Okay. Now this is finished now. We're gonna go ahead and get back to this. Going to VHD, if you notice, it says permission denied. Now I can sudo till I'm blue in the face, or I can just do it one time. Let's go straight into our root account for a moment here, just while we get into what we're looking at. Now, this is going to be entertaining. We have our entire Windows image here. I'm going to just kind of cut out the basic enumeration because I really just don't have the time to go through an entire Windows operating system, right? I don't think any of us do. So we're going to go ahead and just go straight into Windows System 32, and then we're going to go into the config file, and this is running like crap. What's going on here? My system just freeze. Weird. Nah, there we go. What the? Config up? Alright. Callie had a stroke. It happens. Now, this can happen when you mount such a large directory into your system. Usually I don't have a problem with this, but I guess today I'm going to. Anyway, so this is what we look for. So in your Windows System 32 config directory, you will find SAM. All right, this is the mother load right here. Think of this as the Etsy shadow file of a Linux system. Now, unfortunately, we can't just, oh yeah, that's right. I thought I was in Windows for a minute. We can't just cat it out, and that's why. But there's ways around that, so don't worry. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy the SAM file. We're going to put it in our, what are you doing? Come on. Yep, okay. Cipher hack, there we go. And then Bastion, we're going to go ahead and put it here. And then we're going to need also the system file. And that's going to go to the same spot. Okay, now, by all rights, do we have to move it? No, but I like to. So, if we come over here, we should have those files. Perfect, gold. And we are done here. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out. Boom. Back to being the cipher. Alright, so let's focus on the screen for a moment. Alright, so what we have here now are the SAM files and the system file. Now the reason why we also need the system file is there's a few ways to crack a SAM file. Okay, but kind of the one thing that they all have in common is you need to dump the SAM file. So, tool that I've used in the past, you know, some people don't like it, don't know why, but anyway, is SAM dump 2. Okay, so pretty simple syntax actually. As a matter of fact, there you go. We're going to just do SAM dump 2. I'm going to tell it that I want the output to go to SAM.out. Why not? And then I need the system file, which no problem, we have it. And then the SAM file, no problem, we have that too. Boom. That's it. And then we have our SAM.out. Okay, now looking here, looks like we have our administrator account says disabled, guest account says disabled, which that's a good thing. And then we have that. I don't know, lamp JE, maybe. Anyway, so that's what we have there. So clearly this is the route we're going to be going because we have 2 disabled accounts. Disabled doesn't help. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to edit that a little bit because for thoroughness, I'm going to show you hashcat. That is one of the password crackers that is referenced in the CEH material for Hack the Box for the well, the CEH exam, right? So I do want to make sure you at least get a kind of a taste of hashcat, and hashcat is a pretty good password cracking tool. John the Ripper is another one that's referenced. I believe Hydra is, and Medusa. Now those ones are referenced. Then they have ones like Offcrack and things like that, which I actually don't use. So anyway, let's go ahead and run ourselves a hashcat. So hashcat is a little overwhelming for some people, and don't be surprised if you need to kind of reference how to use it. It's not uncommon, and I'm going to show you why if you're not familiar with hashcat. So our typical help command, you need to determine what kind of attack you're doing. So we have attack modes here. Okay, straight, combination, brute force, hybrid word list, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, you have to tell it what kind of hash it is. Now, it can figure it out on its own, but it will take forever. Okay, not a joke. Now, in our case, we're pretty lucky here. Boom. I already stumbled across it right now. And TLM, that's what we're going to be focusing on. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember 1000. But as you can see, there's a lot of options here. And then, of course, we have our options, which is just a lot of fun. So don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to have a good time here. actually not going to be that bad. Okay, once you get accustomed to Hashcat and how it works, it's pretty simple. Now it can get really complicated depending on what you're doing, but ours is a pretty cakewalk deal. So the hash type is going to be the 1000 that we saw. Okay, we're going to just do a standard attack, password attack here, and then we're going to do the what do I call sam.out. Then we need a word list. Now, what I will tell you is that the first time I did this box, I did not use Hashcat. One of my defaults is crackstation.net, only because it's so fast. It really is. And that's kind of one of my defaults to always go to if I need a cracked password, is I just throw it in there. Somebody else who has a ridiculous database of hashes has already cracked it, then why am I going to do it, right? But again, for thoroughness, I want to make sure that I show you this. But the reason why I bring it up is I don't know if you're going to find this in any standard password file. You might, I don't know. I'll be honest, again, I didn't try. It could be in your RockU list, but again, for brevity, we're definitely not going to try. So I put it in this password file. Now the reason why I'm bringing this up is, first of all, honesty is important. But also, I don't want you to think, oh, cool, I can just run it in this list and I'll get it. Not necessarily. Okay, so it might be in there, but I doubt it. I went ahead and added it into this just to make sure that we did have it. I think I only went like 20 words down, if that even, so we're going to get it really fast here. But this is the typical syntax, all right? Call out your hashcat, give it the hash type, and then your attack type, your hash file, and then this, okay? So we're going to go ahead and run it, and it's going to take a moment to initialize, and then it should come back in like 10 seconds. Not even that. Cool. 4 seconds. So anyway, we have our password right here, okay? Now there is, of course, also the option for John the Ripper and things like that, and I'll try to use John at a different one. I don't want to crack this password 20 times. So all right, we have our password. Make note of it. You know what I'm going to do is I'll forget it in like 2 minutes. So vim cracked, because that just seems awesome. Boom. There we go. That way if we need it again, we got it. So we have a password. Hopefully it's a legitimate password for the or what is it, the lamp JE or whatever his name is. Sam.out. Yeah, for this guy. So we're going to SSH right into the system, or at least give it a shot. We'll see how this works out. Spoiler alert, it works. So let's see, 10, 10, 10, 135, 34. There we go. So there's that. And then put in the password. I just pasted it in there. Bam. We have a system shell. So first things first, naturally, right? This is a capture the flag. Boom. There's your user text. Go ahead and snag that. Type it out. In case you're new to the channel, new to the whole hacking and Windows command line and all that, your command is type, and then put in user.txt and it'll type it right out. Okay. So enumeration time. We need to see kind of who we are, what we can do, that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to keep it pretty basic on this one. Where my /priv, check what the privileges are. This should be one of the first things you do. Check the system info. You want to see kind of what you're dealing with as far as for a system access denied. That's what I'm dealing with for a system. I'm denied. Cool. Okay, so let's see what we have around here. So if we just kind of check our directory, we already checked the desktop, so we're not going to do that again. Downloads. The funny thing is, a lot of people a lot of new individuals, they'll actually miss what it is we're looking for. I'll show you why here in a moment. Being URL links, that's not helpful. Well, it might be helpful, but it's not in this case. Searches, I've never pulled up this one. I'm a little concerned. No, we're good. So, kind of checked everything of interest here. Now, if you know how to search your directories thoroughly, you shouldn't have to go any further than where you're at here. But quite a few people do not, unfortunately. We do that, suddenly we have a different directory. Okay, in Linux, if you wanted to see if there's any hidden directories, right? So to list them out, you just do this. A will, take it a step further. Now you don't really see anything going on here, so let me go ahead and just do echo, secret, and then we'll put it into a secret file. Now, you guys just saw me do that. Again, this is only if you're new to, hidden files and all that. If you're not new, then this is kind of boring for you. But it's not there, but if we put the A on there, suddenly secret is there, right? And we can even cat it back out. Boom. You can hide files, through different ways depending on the operating system and all that. That's a little outside of what we're focusing here on. But, oops. In Linux, you add an A flag and you can get your hidden files. In Windows, in the command line, you could just do the /A:/H and it will show you the hidden files. In this case, it was app data. Okay, now app data is pretty much always there, and it's always worth looking into. Okay, and let's see here. Local, low, roaming, local, why not? Let's start here. Okay, and then one thing that we're showing here is mremote ng. Okay. Now, if you don't know what mremote is, it's a good idea to always Google it. Okay, and I'm going to kind of walk you through that here. The only reason why I say that, whoops, is with when you see information here, applications are a fantastic way of escalating privileges, getting access to begin with, whatever the case may be. Config files are your friend. Okay, if that's what we're looking for is configurations, and whether we're reading the config file, or we can manipulate a configuration, or understanding how it's configured. Any of these are useful. So let's just do like mremote ng. Just Google that. Home. It's a fork of nremote. Cool. There we go. Virtual network computing, secure shell, telnet, HTTP, HTTPS. So it's as it states here, multi-protocol remote connections manager for Windows. Yahtzee. Now what we want to know here is, do they store passwords? Just go to google.com. mremote ng. Let's do a config file. Config file location. Bam. App data, remote ng, portal version, blah blah. Now that's exe. Here we go. Okay. So looks like we want to go to the roaming. Let's go back, go to roaming, and then mremote should be here. Yay, com file. Nothing can hurt from just going straight to reading it, right? Other than a ridiculous amount of lines. Okay. I'm always concerned whether or not the text is large enough, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just blow this up for you guys. There, that should be plenty readable, right? Totally coherent reading here. Anyway, so there's a couple ways to do this. Option 1, copy, paste it into our Kali system, and grep the crap out of this thing. option number 2 is just see if we can find any awesome headers and things like that. Okay, which hopefully you saw that. Yay, username. That sucks. We already have that guy. I don't want him again. But we have 2 sections, right? We have one here. We have one up here. And we have an administrator. That's always a good time. And looks like a password that extends all the way to here. Cool. We're grabbing that password. We'll do Vim. Or no, I don't need to do Vim. I'm going to do Vim. I always have problems with echoing and random text, so we'll call this the add pass, please. I don't know. Find out. Really? There we go. Okay. So we're actually going to cat that out. I want to make sure it's the same. So the D right here, 0, perfect. All right, we're good. Now, that looks like it's base 64, actually. So, no grepping. Base 64-D, which is going to decrypt base 64, and then we have that. Okay, so more likely than not, a lot of applications will kind of have their, or it's not uncommon for them to have their own password method. So let's try password decrypt. Hey, look at that. You know, I love Google. When you constantly search for malicious things, it just assumes you're looking for something malicious. Isn't that fun? Doesn't hurt that I've been here before, obviously. Alright, Python script. Now, anytime, I don't want the whole thing. Anytime you're downloading any kind of script or anything like that from online, and definitely exe files, avoid. Sometimes you can't, but 99% of the time you can avoid it. Skim over it. Okay, you want to make sure that there's not like going to be some random, hey, I'm totally going to connect to your system while I'm running this and decrypting your decrypting that password, and then I'm going to go ahead and take over your system and just completely pwn it, and then I'm going to embarrass you because you're supposed to be a hacker. Type text in the file. Okay, always a good idea to check it. GitHub, usually you're pretty good, but not always. They've had a few issues. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the raw format because it's easier, or I won't because my system's having a stroke again. Okay. So anyway, we're going to just call this the pass master.py. Alright, then we're going to do this, and clear this out. Alright, now, it's pretty simple usage here. It goes through right here. Now, I put it in a file, so I'm going to go ahead and just use the file option. So it's Python 3, and then, what did I call this again? The pass master, that's right. And then we're going to go ahead and just do file and add. Really? You're not going to just put it in for me? This is stupid. Man. Add pass, please. Isn't that what I called it? That is what I called it. Sweet. And then just outputs a password. So, I'm going to just clear out of this one. I don't even want to know how big this is. We can do administrator at 10, 10, 10, 1, 3, 4. I'm going to make sure I copy this. I'm going to paste it. Oh yeah, we're admin. So, going to the desktop. Bam, there's your root text. Okay. So, as far as for maintaining access, guys, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can, you know, obviously put in some kind of malware. You'll want to hide it somehow. If you're doing, oh shoot, what is it called? NTFS file system. I think it's NTFS file system. You're able to hide files behind files, which is just a lot of fun. I will go through that in a lab environment where I've actually made the Windows system. Like I set it up. I want to make sure that we have a the correct type of file system and all that. And I want to make sure that if we blow up anything, it's fine. Anyway, so hiding files or executables inside of nonchalant files, like a readme.txt or something like that. That's what the CEH goes into. Also adding accounts. Okay, I don't know why the CEH doesn't say that. Add an account. Um, and if anybody says, well, because that's totally noticeable. Yeah. Clearing logs. Okay, I'll tell you right now, if you are a competent computer, cybersecurity analyst or anything like that, if your logs are all of a sudden just empty, that's a red flag. That is like the biggest red flag. You might as well put up a neon sign going, hey, I totally just hacked your system and now you have no idea I'm here, even though I have a neon sign up pointing right at me saying I'm here. So CEH is not exactly overly worried about the um, you know, the visibility of your attack. If they're saying, hey, just clear your logs, hey, no problem. Nobody will notice a totally empty log. Yeah, they do. So with that being said, um, adding an account is a great way to maintain access as well, especially if there's like SSH available in the system and things like that. Now, adding an account can, of course, absolutely send up a red flag. Um, we'll get into logs and all that when we do probably the vulnerability one. I'll probably set up a Splunk or something like that as well, so that way we can look into that. But anyway, we'll get into all that on the um, video where I have created the whole lab environment, so that way we can totally mess with it and have a little bit of fun. But on this video, just kind of go over it again. We did dump the SAM file, password cracked, gained access, escalated our privileges through more password cracking. Yeah, so that was, good video, right? Got a lot done. So guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave comments if there's anything, you need clarified a little bit more, if you want more examples of, anything like that. I try to reply as fast as I can. Not trying to make it sound like there's a lot of comments, but, I will try to reply to you guys. But yeah, have a good one.